Welcome to Strip Talking, a podcast from stripwalking.com.
God, this podcast sucks.
So do you know what the pirate's favorite letter is?
R.
They really love the C.
Shut the fuck up.
Never dealt with a stick that long.
Wouldn't the two circles represent tits?
Geoff is not, and I'm speaking myself in third person, I am not technologically advanced at all.
Did you have a fear boner?
It was probably the biggest fear boner I've had in quite some time.
Did you just say fear boner and your mom's gonna listen to this?
Here are your hosts, Geoff with a G and Mike with a...
What's up? I'm Geoff, and I got Mike here with me, and we're here to do a little strip talking. How we doing tonight, Mike?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, since you're one of the co-hosts, I'm glad that you could join us tonight.
So I got the gig full time?
Well, yeah. I guess, did you miss the memo on your pager?
So you turned down Taylor Swift?
Well, it was more so she turned me down, something about a previous engagement, blah, blah, blah. I think she just figured she probably couldn't hold up her end of the bargain. Probably wouldn't be as popular as we are.
Yeah. She's not as snarky as me.
That's true. I can say that she's probably not as snarky as you. She might be slightly more creative than either one of us put together, but
I have bigger boobs.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna touch that on two fronts, but
nope, you never will touch them.
I will not. So that being said, I think it's time for us to move on to the next segment of this show called "We're going to talk about anything other than Mike's boobs and me touching them."
Two boobs with a podcast. That could be the podcast name.
it actually might have been the most accurate of all of them. Anyway, I think that we should let our listeners learn a little more about us. Do you have any ideas that pop into your head, Mike, about how we could do that?
So if you've been on the website, on our blog, some of our podcast friends have answered a few questions for us. And we thought we'd take some of those questions and answer them ourselves, mostly about Vegas. Website's not just about Vegas, but we are a little Vegas obsessed.
Yeah, I think a little would be an understatement. We like our Vegas. There's just so much to do, so much to see. Everybody can do it in their own way. I think that's the exciting thing about it. But in order for you all to get to know us, we thought this would be the best way. So do you want to start asking the questions, Mike, or do you want to answer?
I think I'll start asking, Geoff.
Okay. Thank you for enunciating.
Question number 1. Tell us about your very first Vegas experience.
All right. Well, that's fun. Got to go back 22 years. The company was interesting because I actually went with my ex-wife and her parents. So it was with the ex-wife and the ex-in-laws. Flew out on a Monday morning out of Omaha. Got to Vegas fairly early, and we were staying actually downtown. We stayed at the Golden Nugget. Honestly, I enjoyed the Golden Nugget quite a bit. But we got there, went walking out onto Fremont Street, and the first thing that caught my eye, I have to remember this is a while ago, like I said, was Glitter Gulch.
Was the canopy there then?
The canopy was there. It was. But you had, like where Circa was, I think it was Las Vegas Club. You had Glitter Gulch. It was different, that's for sure. But like I said, the first thing that caught my eye was Glitter Gulch as we stepped out on the street. My ex-father-in-law was like, "Hey, we should go in there." It just pissed off my ex-mother-in-law something fierce. It was so funny. So funny. Unfortunately, I never did make it into Glitter Gulch. Maybe that's not unfortunate. I will say just the lights and everything was what I thought Vegas would be. You know, it was just a sparkly kind of draw you in atmosphere. And, you know, while some things have changed 22 years later, it's still that to me.
I was digging through, I posted a few of them on Twitter. I had some digital pictures, and those actually helped me identify the dates. I think it was like April of 2002. I went with my dad, and we stayed at MGM Grand. Don't remember a ton about it. I remember the Lions When golfed at some golf course, it wasn't on the strip, it was a ways away.
But that's exciting that you got to golf. I've never got to golf out there. I know we've talked about maybe that's something that we should do at some
Yeah.
point.
And I had some pictures of that. I have no idea what golf course it was.
Yeah. Well, and there's chances it might not even be there still. Vegas has grown so much. I do think, and it's something you mentioned early in your answer there that I think we would like to delve into sometime down the road was, you talked about the Lions at MGM Grand. I know that one of our big things is about Las Vegas that we kind of miss is the theming aspect, and I think that will definitely be a topic of a podcast down the road. But yeah, it's so funny that both of us were over 20 years ago that we hit up Vegas for the first time, and man, has it changed since then.
We went downtown. The canopy at that point was pretty new, I believe. When did the canopy come in?
I don't know. I'd have to look for sure.
It seems a little dated to me now, but at the time it was like, wow. And then we tried to find the bus stop. We kind of got lost and got on some side streets, and it got a little sketchy there for a while. I think we ended up at the main spot where all the buses came back at the end of the night for maintenance and all that stuff. But we survived. It was a good story to tell, I guess. Didn't do much gambling at that time. I didn't have you to teach me how to play craps yet. So
Well, I have to be honest with you. The first time I went to Vegas, I wasn't a craps player yet either. So,
but I did fall in love with it enough that we had to come back. It would have been about 3 years later for my honeymoon, 2005. Stayed at the Dirty Castle.
but that was fairly new back then.
Wasn't quite as dirty, but it was still. There's a reason we stayed there. It was cheap.
Well, there's nothing wrong with
the theming was a lot better.
Well, I think theming was a bigger deal back then. It really was. You didn't see, and I know that's one of a lot of people's complaints about Las Vegas nowadays is that a lot of the new casinos are very, I don't want to say generic, but they're kind of sterile in some ways. There's not a lot of character to them, which is one of the things I thought that made Vegas stand out was the character of the buildings and whatnot.
That first trip I did also, we went up on the Stratosphere, as it was then.
Yeah.
I rode the, is it the Big Shot?
It went straight, it goes straight up in the air. Yeah.
Haven't rode that since.
I don't even know if it's still open.
I think it is, isn't it?
I don't know. It's a good question. I've ridden that too. It was a fun ride, especially at night.
Yeah, we did it at night. Next question.
Yeah, let's go to the next question.
What is your gambling game of choice and why?
Well, as Mike kind of indicated in that previous little segment there, I would have to say my gambling game of choice now is craps. When I started out gambling, much like I think most people, I was a slots player for multiple reasons. It's less intimidating. I mean, you just go up, stick your money in, and there's no pressure really to what you're doing. Whereas with craps or any table game, you have to have some sort of basic knowledge of the game, number one. And number two, which I think is a huge thing, is you have to actually get up the courage to walk up and buy in. Once you've bought in, it gets easier. But that initial first buy-in is a little nerve-wracking, especially if you're someone it doesn't come naturally to just be forward and just go do it. How about you, Mike?
Definitely craps. I've always been intrigued by video poker. Even those early trips, I would play it not knowing what I was doing. Now that I've learned some of the strategies, definitely like it even more.
Yeah.
I know you're not much of a video poker, although maybe you're starting to come around now.
Yeah, I'm coming around. A recent trip, I got to meet up with some people in Vegas and Mark from 360 Vegas and Alistair, and they kind of got me to have the bug there to do some video poker, I think, each time I go out now. So now you're stuck with me following you around to the video poker. It was your one way to get rid of me in Vegas. And now you don't have that.
Shit. But definitely craps there's something about that game.
I think it's the in my opinion, I think it's just the idea that you can get, depending on the table, 14 or 16 people basically all cheering for the same thing, all wanting the same thing to happen. And when it does happen and everybody's cheering and screaming, and there's no more exciting feeling, I think, in a casino than being around a craps table when somebody's on a hot roll.
And it really gets the chicks.
well, well, I'm gonna leave that up to you, because I've never had any good luck with getting the chicks at the craps table.
I've never had good luck in the chicks anywhere.
Well, although there was that one time, you remember when we were playing the first time we played on the table together?
That was you. Don't get me in trouble.
Okay, it was me. I was just talking. We were just talking.
What video poker game do you like best?
Mark is going to yell at me because I kept asking him when I was out there, and I can't ever remember. I think it's bonus deluxe. I think it's bonus deluxe. Whichever one pays the larger pay for a four of a kind. Although I did play some, I think it was Ultimate X. I played some out there, something along those lines, and that was fun.
I have his answers up here somewhere. Bonus poker deluxe.
Bonus poker deluxe. Okay, so I was right.
Mine is Deuces Wild.
Yeah. What's the biggest or best hand you've had on a Deuces Wild poker, a video poker game?
4 deuces.
4 deuces. Nice. I got a and the funny thing is when I was playing video poker the last time in Vegas, I wasn't winning, but then I hit 2 four of a kinds fairly close together, and I was like, "Oh, this game's fun." This is like any game; it's more fun when you're winning.
I've not got a royal flush yet.
I think there are a lot of people that haven't got that. I've listened to podcasts. The You Can Bet on That podcast with Mark and Dr. Mike. They both have been playing gambling for years and years and years, and neither one of them, I don't think, has ever had a royal flush. So that's crazy.
I've been dealt 4 of the 5 cards a couple times.
4 to a royal, but still didn't hit it.
Yeah, that gets exciting, and then a big letdown.
It's like we all know what's going to happen next.
Yeah. So I don't even know what the odds are at that point, but they're still probably not that great.
Well, you got 1 out of 52, whatever that works out to be, less than 2%.
Well, it wouldn't be 52 because there's 4 other cards already out there, right?
Okay, 1 out of 48.
Do the math, Geoff.
2 point something.
Good job.
You bet.
Tell us about your biggest gambling win and biggest loss. I can't talk about loss because my wife might listen.
Okay, so we're just going to go win. So my biggest win actually happened on my last trip. I was playing.
Wait, is this overall or is this just one?
I'm just going to say, are you thinking whole trip or just one session?
One session.
One session? Okay, so this will be one session, yeah. I have recently started being a casino dealer, as we talked about a little bit earlier, or previous time. But I have learned how to play the game Ultimate Texas Hold'em, or deal that game. So when I was in Vegas the last time, I decided I was going to play it. So I sat down and played, ended up getting a straight flush, and I ended up winning. I bought in for like $200, ended up cashing out at about $680. I mean, it was awesome. That was the best. I'd never had a $500 plus hand in any game I played. But the really downside to it was I was not playing the progressive on that particular game. And if I had been, I would have won $17,000. So
you dipshit.
Yeah, well, it was exciting that I won what I did. It was kind of a kick in the balls that I didn't win that full progressive. But just got to be thankful for what we got, right?
You weren't playing it at all, though. It's not like...
No, I didn't play the progressive at all.
You played it on the wrong hand.
No. I didn't play the progressive at all. So it wasn't like that was the one hand that I didn't play it. So...
Do you ever play it?
I don't play it. To me, it's just a slow bleed. Death by 1,000.
Until you hit $17,000.
Yeah, but you know what? Probably could play it every time from here on out and never hit another hand like that. So...
But you wouldn't lose $17,000.
No, but $5 at a time. Just a slow bleed on your bankroll.
You'd still be ahead.
Yes, you're right, Mike. Why don't you just twist the knife? Just turn it a little bit harder. How about you? What's your best win? I think I know the answer to this because I think you have to tell the story behind it. Though.
You do.
I do. You're gonna have to tell the story behind it. Start when you left us.
What story?
Was it your Dragon Link experience?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a hand pay. Was it last June?
Yeah, at Planet Hollywood, wasn't it?
Yep.
So
yeah, I guess we were having kind of bad craps luck.
We were, and Mike comes up to me, he goes, cashed out, and he goes, I'm gonna go make some poor financial decisions.
No, I said bad gambling decisions.
Bad gambling decisions, yes.
Meaning I was going to play slots.
And then I couldn't find him anywhere. And so I called him, and what did you tell me?
Well, so I think I had said at some point going into the trip, I'm going to get a hand pay. I had told you that or texted you that or something.
Yeah.
And then I texted you again, or I was sitting there and I said, I just got a hand pay, which.
And I said, you did.
Dragon Link is a freaking awesome slot machine, by the way.
Mike is a Dragon Link master. He always has been.
All time, I have to be up thousands and thousands on that machine. I almost never lose on that machine.
Yes, and he's not
I
lying.
get killed on everything else, but it seems like I never lose on that machine.
He does. Yeah, I can verify that. I remember one time we were playing and we went and sat down at a bank of Dragon Links. There were 2 open, and I said, "Well," I went to sit down at one, and I was like, "Well, which one do you want?" He said, "Well, I like this one." I was like, "Okay," so I moved, and who hit the freaking bonus? 2 spins in. Not this guy.
So it wasn't that great of a hand pay. It was just over the threshold, whatever, 1,200 or is it 1,500?
1,200 is the threshold right now. Which they're trying to raise that. I don't know. Did you know that?
I did not, Geoff.
They're trying to raise it to like $5,800.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I know. Blew your mind. I could tell by your emphatic response.
Really ground this podcast to a halt.
Yes, I did. So what's your next question, sir?
What's your biggest loss, Geoff?
Well, you have to understand that I am not a big gambler when it comes to, I'm very risk averse. Like, I'll bring X amount of dollars to the table, and once that's gone, it's gone. I don't rebuy in.
So you'll actually cut out before. Usually I'll take a certain amount into like a craps game or slots or something, and I'm either going to win some money or I'm going to have zero.
Yes.
You'll cut out with like 70 or 80 bucks if you started with 200.
I kind of go by gut feeling. Like if I just feel like the tables are not going well, then I usually, I try to minimize those losses. But I would have to say probably my worst loss in one session. Again, this is going to highlight how much of a low roller I am. But last time I had my biggest win on Ultimate Texas Hold'em. I had my biggest loss on Ultimate Texas Hold'em. I ended up losing $350 in one session because the dealer just for lack of better terms, just raked me over the coals. I think I had a full house one time, and she ended up with quads. I would have a straight and she'd have a higher straight. I would have it so that I'd have a pair and she'd have nothing out there on the board, and she'd have a pocket pair or something like that and end up beating me. And the only time I won that session is I had trip kings and she ended up with trip queens. I mean, she still had a huge hand, and I just fortunately got a bigger one. So that was my biggest loss. Do you want to answer your biggest loss?
I don't think it was probably very big in one session. That trip, was it 2020 COVID?
Our first trip,
July and August when we went back to back.
Our first trip together.
Or maybe it was.
We were in October. I remember you just got.
Bellagio just kicked my ass. Overall, that one was pretty bad.
The thing that was crazy about that is you would walk up to me and you'd have a Tito ticket for like $563. I was like, yes. I was like, way to go. And then I'd see you 20 minutes later, and you're like, I'm like, what happened? You're like, oh, I lost it all. I'm like, what did you just do?
I probably got it all on Dragon Link and then put it in a Wheel of Fortune machine or something and lost it all.
Probably. You have to remember, you have to keep in mind what you're doing with that money. Are you expecting to win money, or are you using it as entertainment?
Yeah, it's entertainment.
It's entertainment. I mean, it is. And especially in Vegas, that amount of money you could spend $300 on a show ticket for a meal, depending on what you're doing.
Easily.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about craps or video poker or anything other than slots is if you know what you're doing, generally you don't lose it quite as fast.
Yeah.
Usually.
Well, and again, we can talk about this another time too, because we got other stuff to talk about, but that's part of the reason why I like table games versus slots or even video poker. You actually are making a choice as to where you're gambling your money. Slot machines, you put it in, press a button, pull a lever, whatever it is, and it dictates everything. The only choice you have made is which machine you sat down. So,
and there's no difference.
No.
Dragon Lake's not really better. I mean, it
is for you, but
it's just luck.
It is, but so is winning at a table game. And and that's the thing. there's not really any such thing as good luck or bad luck. It's just luck, one way or another. Changes in a heartbeat.
We're getting pretty deep here, Jeff.
We're being all mature and stuff. All right, next.
Fucking Dragon Link. It's awesome. What is your favorite Vegas Strip property and why?
Okay, so my favorite Vegas Strip property isn't necessarily the nicest that I've stayed at, but my favorite property just all the way.
Wait. Don't say it. You should try and guess mine, and I should try and guess yours.
You know mine, so it's not going to be much of a guess.
I do? Oh, yeah, I do.
You probably do.
Bellagio.
You think mine's Bellagio? It's not. Bellagio is my favorite casino.
Okay.
But if we're talking all around experience,
Planet Hollywood.
yes, Planet Hollywood is mine. I love the atmosphere. We always end up there. Is partly because
Earl of Sandwich.
We love the Earl of Sandwich late night after we get done gambling. I don't know. I just like I like the food options. I like the feel of the gaming floor.
The food options or Earl of Sandwich?
Well, we've eaten at other ones. There.
What?
Ocean. Didn't we eat at that Ocean's one? I didn't think that was bad.
Yeah.
It was reasonably priced. We ate at Cabo Wabo, which I thought was good. Wasn't like fantastic, but it was good. There's a Chick-fil-A if you want something fast. I've eaten it. I think I've eaten at the P.F. Chang's there, but it might have been when it was a lap.
Pin-up pizza.
I've eaten pin-up pizza. Yeah, and I haven't eaten burger yet, but I want to eat.
Oh yeah, I've eaten at Gordon Ramsay burger.
Yeah. Okay, now I got to guess yours.
Mine.
Oh, yours is tough.
Mine's pretty easy if you've been paying attention to me at all in the last 30 years.
I know you like Paris.
Is that your guess?
I'm gonna guess Paris.
Fuck you. Next question.
Am I right?
Yeah. I do. There's something about Paris I like.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
I
that.
think it's mostly the theming.
It is.
It's the
I
theming.
love the theming. I've never had great luck in the casino.
Yeah, it's not, casinos are. I don't really base my like of a property on the casinos. They all kind of are pretty much the same.
Run together. I would agree, except my biggest thing with the casino at Bellagio is I just love how big it is, number one, and how it's laid out. I love that the craps tables are right there at the end of that. There's like that T right next to the cashier cage. I mean, they're just right. If that's what you're looking for, you're going to find them right away. It's a beautiful property. And you're going to make fun of me, but I love the conservatory. I know that's one of your favorite things. I always have to check it out.
I love flowers.
I do love flowers.
No, I love flowers. You know what I love? Chandeliers.
Oh, well, I have the chandelier for you then. Okay, so if we went with the favorite one, now I get to ask, what's your least favorite one?
You're supposed to guess it.
I'm supposed to guess it? Okay. Your least favorite property on the strip is...
Do we have to have spent a lot of time there?
No.
I'd probably go to something like Circus, but I've only been in it once.
Okay. Well, I think
it's something that we have to...
Yeah, I think it's got to be something we at least have some experience in.
Right.
I'm going to go for you. I'm going to go Tropicana.
That's a good one, but like in a month or two, that doesn't exist.
I know.
And I really haven't spent a lot of time in it. We played Pie Gow in it that one time. That's about it.
I like the Trop. I'm going to be sad to see it go.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
I don't know. If it's not that...
Let's say of the ones we frequent.
Of the ones we...
So Caesars or MGM or Cosmo. Or...
Okay. Of the ones we frequent, I'm going to say Paris?
I don't know.
Which one were you thinking?
I don't really know. What's yours?
You have to guess. This one should be pretty obvious.
Caesar's Palace.
Yes. So much so that I just don't go in it. When we were filming our routes for the stripwalking.com website, I might take Caesar's Palace because I don't know it and I don't really care to go in it that much. It's just huge, number one. Number two, I don't necessarily like how it's laid out from what I do recall. Just not my favorite.
I still don't have an answer. Next question.
Next question. All right. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Casino Royale. Now I kind of like Casino Royale.
Casino Royale. I'm going to be sad when that thing goes. One of my favorite Las Vegas stories is from Casino Royale.
Which one's that, Jeff?
When I was just getting started playing craps, the only place on the strip that I felt like I could afford, because I was a very, very low roller then.
And now you're not.
And now I'm not, yeah. I'm a little bit higher than I was, but still not high. Anyway, Casino Royale had a craps table that was right off the strip. I mean, steps off the strip. You stepped in the casino and there it was, $5 table. And I'm playing at this table and it's late at night. Casino Royale doesn't always have the best clientele. I was playing, there was a gal that was playing next to me. She was all flamboyantly dressed, just wild, right next to me. And we both had similar bets out on the table. Well, we actually both won on the same bet. Well, the dealer paid me and I went to reach for my chips, and she actually smacked my hand out of the way because she thought I was taking her chips. And I'm like, no, I was like, those are my chips. And she was freaking out, and the dealers had to stop and say, no, those are his. But she was not having it. I thought I was going to get into a fight with this lady over $5.
My Casino Royale story was when I tried to get a player's card, and the guy behind the desk was just sitting there and looked up at me and with just disgust that I was even there, and then just kept right on doing what he was doing. Just let me stand there for another 5 minutes.
But that's when you got introduced to the gold slot machine, and you just kept winning.
That's
and
true.
Just kept winning.
That's the only time I've ever won on that slot machine, though. That may have also been the first time we had $2.99 hot dogs.
Oh yes, can't forget about those.
And now they're what, $3.99?
$3.49 or $3.99. I don't know, but they're still worth it. You get a little. I get the nacho cheese on them, and I think I get jalapenos on them, and it's fantastic.
Some good wieners.
Yep, hidden gem right there.
It's not really hidden. It's pretty famous deal hack in Vegas.
Yeah, it is, but it's still worth it.
Agreed. Next question. What is your favorite downtown Vegas property and why?
We haven't done a lot of gambling downtown.
No, I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer this.
And that's the thing too. I'm not sure. I have gambled at the Plaza, and I liked Plaza. I've not gambled at Circa, but Circa is nice and new. I know that the last time we were there, you gambled at Circa a little bit while I was slaving away.
Yeah.
Couldn't find you.
Worst Dragon Link machines in the whole freaking city.
Yes, but the downtown area has the best pizza in the city. Pizza Rock. If you haven't had it, you got to have it. It's amazing.
I could easily tell you my least favorite property, though, downtown.
Least favorite. What's your least favorite?
Four Queens.
Yeah, you have a story about Four Queens. Didn't you try playing some craps there with your dad one time?
We did play craps, and the dealers were surly jerks, questioning our bets, getting pissy when we take our bets down.
Yeah.
And then to top it off, and that was right, like we were there days before COVID shut everything down, like probably 2 or 3 days. And we got up the morning of our flight, and I realized I didn't have my driver's license. And I had left it. So I got a player's card at Four Queens, and I think they might have taken it and not given it back. But I can't say for sure that that's what happened because I don't remember. Either that or I just left it somewhere. I called them up. They had it. So we took an Uber down there real fast to get it. And then they were just kind of jerks about it, that too. I asked somebody about it, and they're like, go talk to somebody else. The security guard sitting up on the raised pedestal thing. And he's like, go sit over there wait. You'll have to wait a little bit. So I go sit over there. He just kind of sits there, probably 10 minutes. I don't know why we had to wait. Maybe he's doing security stuff or something, but it sure looked like he was just sitting there. Finally, he walks over and gives me my license, and we leave. Yeah, it just didn't run into any real cheerful employees.
You had to pay your penalty. That was your penalty. You're in the penalty box. 10 minutes for major misconduct.
Okay. And like I said, my suspicion is they kept my license.
Yeah, but it's still your fault.
I signed up for them. Yeah, I should have remembered it, but I did get a free T-shirt from them, though.
You did? Oh, okay. Not even because they kept your ID.
No. Signing up for the Players Club. Also, they used to have an app that, I don't know if they still do, where you could get free nights and stuff if you played their slots. And they busted me for cheating.
They busted you for cheating?
On the app, yeah. So they took away all my points and everything. So that kind of made me pissy about them.
I don't think I remember that story, to be honest with you.
That was many years ago. And I know what you're thinking. Was I cheating?
If I know what you...
I prefer not to answer.
If I know what you were doing, I don't know that it was cheating. As my one daughter would say, it'd be I was using my resources.
It was against their terms of service, yes. Yes, I was being
You're
resourceful.
being resourceful, yes.
I was exploiting a bug with some bad software coding. So they should have been mad at their programmers.
True.
We better get to the next question before I get the FBI calling me or something. What is your favorite non-gambling thing to do in Vegas? We were going to skip that one.
Yeah, let's skip that one and come back to it.
You were going to say Hoover Dam. I was going to say hookers.
Yeah, we better skip that one.
Wait, no, you were going to say hookers, and I was going to say Hoover
There
Dam.
you go. He's completely joking.
If you could change one thing about Vegas, what would it be and why?
This is easy. And this will go back to something, like I said, that a topic that I'm sure we'll revisit later on. But I just hate the loss of theming in Las Vegas. A couple reasons why. Number one, back when I first went to Las Vegas, the theming really made it stand out. Obviously, the gambling's made it stand out too. Now, where more and more states are legalizing gambling, you don't have to go to Las Vegas to gamble. You can go pretty much anywhere you want. So what then differentiates a hotel in Las Vegas versus a hotel elsewhere in the country, in best terms to me, is the theming. And if it's just a generic kind of looking, or, very standardized looking hotel, you can get those pretty much anywhere in the country. So I hate the loss of the theming. Did I take your answer?
Nope.
Okay. What is yours?
Mine is resort fees.
Yes, that's a good one. They definitely are nickeling and diming everybody.
Surprisingly, a lot of people say they don't have a problem with it. You just add it into the price. Or they disclose it. So what's the problem?
Right.
And that's not really why I have the issue. My issue is, as someone who's always trying to get free rooms through points and other ways, when I do use my points and then I get stuck with the resort fees, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Great example is next June, got 3 nights at the Palazzo on IHG points. So completely free, high-end freaking rooms, which should be completely free, but it's going to cost me $150, which, yes, it's only $150, but should be free.
Yeah, it's the principle of it. You're using your points that you've accrued to get yourself a free room, and you're still going to have to pay for it, which I know what you're saying, because there are a lot of people that say, okay, it's still a great value, that high level of a room for only $50 a night. But
still pisses me off.
Yep. I can understand your frustration.
What is the biggest celebrity you have run into in Vegas, and how did it happen?
Okay, so for me, the biggest celebrity actually was Guy Fieri. Is that how you pronounce it? Fieri? How is it?
That's what my wife says. Fieri.
Fiero.
I always say Ferrari just to make her mad.
There you go.
She loves him.
Yeah, he was. I was walking with my ex-wife one night very late, on that skywalk between the Cromwell, and so at that time it was between, was it still Barbary Coast? No, it must have been Bill's Gaming Saloon or Gaming Hall and Bally's. And when walking along, and saw this guy with the white spiky hair walking across, and like I said, it was late. I looked, I was like, God, I think that's him. And I turned around and I hollered at him. I said, "Hey, Guy!" And he turned around, and it was definitely him. But it was just him and whoever the gal was with him, and then my ex-wife and I on the bridge. I should have gone over and verified, but
so you said, "Hey, Guy," and then you just hid?
Yeah, and then I hid behind my ex-wife.
You didn't take a picture with him or anything?
Because he didn't stop walking.
You didn't have phones back then.
Yeah, he didn't stop walking. He turned around, kind of waved, but I'm pretty sure it was him. 99.9.
He was famous back then?
Yeah, this wasn't, gosh, I'm trying to remember exactly how long ago it was. It's been within the last 10 years. He was not as famous as he is now, but he was known.
In the last 10 years?
Eh?
How long have you been divorced?
Well, 6 years. Coming up on 6 years.
Should we get into this again?
No, not tonight. All right, how about you? Any celebrities?
I forgot the question.
Have you run into a celebrity, and how did it happen?
Does it have to be in the wild?
No.
My brother and brother-in-law claim that they saw James Franco. Is that his name? When we were checking in at Bally's. I didn't see him, and I kind of don't know who he is. Is that make me sound old.
No, he's an actor.
Yeah, I gathered that much, Jeff. I've met some of the performers and taken pictures with them, like Penn.
Oh yeah,
Penn and
I
Teller.
guess I have done that too. Fantastic show, by the way.
Yeah, really good show. Matt King. King's show is actually really good.
Really?
Too.
Is he at Excalibur?
He is now. I've seen him at, I think he was at Harrah's. I've seen him at Harrah's and Excalibur. A couple B or C list reality stars. We went on a reality star tour bus thing. We went to the Count's. We didn't meet him, but we went to his shop, Count's Customs. Remember that show? It ended at the Pawn Star shop. I guess we did, I don't know if it was that trip or a different trip. Chumley was there one time at his candy shop. Took a picture with him. Nobody real major.
You've rubbed shoulders with some people. I know, and this was before I went, but my ex-wife she told me that she rode a roller coaster with Nicolas Cage. I think he was out there.
What?
Yeah. He
does go there a lot.
He does, and it was right around the time that Con Air was being filmed, so I could believe that he would be in Vegas.
You want to get into your ex-wife?
Nope, we're not touching that one.
All right. What is your very best Vegas story?
Well, I told one of my better ones about getting my hand slapped by the player.
That's one of your best?
Well, there are a lot of good stories, funny stories.
Okay, well, give us two good ones. Two good ones equals the best.
All right. So I don't know if it was a good story or not. It was a eye-opening story. It actually happened on our first trip to Las Vegas together. We were in the Lake Promenade. Mike was introducing me to a frozen Bailey's from the Blarney Stone there at O'Shea's, and we both got a frozen Bailey's drink. And of course, I proceeded to spill mine right away. So I grabbed some napkins and I'm wiping my hands off as we're walking up the promenade towards the crosswalk that goes across the Caesar's Palace and Mirage. And I'm walking along and I'm not watching what I'm doing, of course. And the next thing I know, I have a pair of handcuffs slapped on my wrists. Two police women, buskers, have right by the link sign, have me in handcuffs, and I'm looking for Mike. He was nowhere to be found. Now, where he saw it all happen.
So, no, I was in front of you, and I knew their game, and I wasn't stopping or giving him a chance to slap the cuffs on me. And I hit that light, and I was across the street before I even realized that you had been cuffed.
But he wasn't coming back. I couldn't get him to come back.
Yeah, I mean, why would I come back? And because then they were going to make me pay.
Yeah.
So some stranger had to take the picture, right?
Yeah, some stranger took the picture, and then I had to have him take the cuffs off so I could get to my wallet so I could pay him. Extortion.
You should have just ran off then.
I should have. I should have just sprinted across the street.
That was fall of 2020, so it wasn't like as crowded as it usually is.
Yeah.
It's kind of the wild, wild west at that point.
Yeah, that was quite an experience. How about you? Give me your best Vegas story.
I had one, but I forgot about it now. Just thinking about you in cuffs.
I never thought I'd hear you ever say that, and don't ever say it again.
I've witnessed two bums defecating on the sidewalk. Two separate incidents. One in front of Harrah's and one over by, well, it's on the strip walking. We'll let the people find that one. So I've got an oldie, but a goodie. Honeymoon. We took a helicopter tour to the Grand Canyon.
Now, when you say we, you're saying you and your wife.
Yes. No hookers. They fly you from the airport in Vegas and you land in the canyon and you eat a snack or a sandwich or something and then fly back. So it's a pretty cool trip. But it was turbulent on the way to the canyon. And my wife, she can't handle, any turbulence, and she's reaching for the air sickness bag. I can hold out usually, and I didn't throw up, but I was very queasy by the time we got landed. And I think I posted it in one of our blog articles. There's a picture that they took of us standing in front of the helicopter in the canyon. We just looked miserable.
You were not living your best life that day.
And my wife is just begging them to not make her get back on the helicopter. And there's obviously no other way out of the canyon.
Mm-hmm.
She just wanted to stay there and die. And to make matters worse, on the way back, they had to stop for fuel. So it made it a little bit longer trip. Haven't gone on a helicopter trip since.
Yeah, I bet you won't either.
I don't know if we just got a bad, unlucky one, or if that's the way all long helicopter flights are. Because that's the only time I've flown that high in a helicopter.
I've never been in a helicopter.
Loser. That's because you don't have diamond status.
Yes. I'm surprised we made it all the way through this episode so far without knowing what Mike's status is with Caesar's Rewards.
It's diamond.
Just in case anybody wanted to know.
If it's not your best Vegas story, describe your most interesting, scariest experience with casino security. So we've filmed a lot in casinos, and
Yes, we have.
I don't think it's a big secret that casinos don't like you filming in them.
That's true. And honestly, I don't want to say there have been times when I've been filming walking through casinos that I'm going by security guards, and I've been a little nervous, like a little concerned that they might say something, but I'd never been stopped until our trip in August when we were filming downtown, and I got stopped at 3 different casinos and told that I couldn't film.
I've never had any problems.
They're intimidated by you. You're a big guy, big, tough looking guy.
We did get a stink eye at the Signature. Remember that?
Yeah, we did.
Well, we
But then
kind
we
of
went and talked to the guy.
smoothed it over, yeah.
Yeah, we went and talked to the guy, and it was all good. Had to schmooze, be a little fake nice.
Didn't you get in a little trouble at Sioux Falls or something? Sioux City?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was at a casino in Sioux Falls. Well, actually, just right near Sioux Falls, but I was trying to do some filming there, and they were gonna take my camera. I was like, no. I guess I forgot about that, but yeah, I have had a few run-ins with security where they've not threatened to 86 me from a property, but told me that if I didn't stop filming, that they would take my camera. Which I don't know that they can do that. I don't know that they can take your camera. They can just make you stop filming.
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of stuff they can legally do, but they they rely on people not knowing what they can and can't do, I think sometimes. Scaring people into believing that they can do stuff. And
Right, and it is private property, so it's not like they don't have the right to ask you to leave. They
can make
certainly
you
do that.
leave. They can do that, definitely. But some of the other stuff.
Yeah, they can't take your camera or your footage.
And then our final question is, what made you decide to start a Vegas podcast? And ours isn't just a Vegas podcast, but this was originally written for 360 Vegas guys and gals.
Yeah. Well, and like you just said, I don't think our podcast is going to be solely about Vegas. We have lots of other locations and interests around the United States and outside of the United States, actually, the contiguous 48 states. But that's the 48 states that aren't Alaska
What are you
and
talking
Hawaii.
about?
Do I need to give you a geography lesson?
What are you rambling on about?
I'm just saying. Obviously, Vegas was our first
Are
place
you
that
saying
we filmed.
we're going to do a podcast about Europe or something?
No, I'm saying that, man. I'm gonna be either looking for a new podcast partner or I'm gonna be kicked off the podcast. I don't know which one it's gonna be. But anyway, I think that the main reason that we decided to do this is that I think it's one way for people that are unfamiliar with what we are doing with the stripwalking.com website to become more familiarized with not only what we're doing, but who we are. Oh my God.
I didn't know that was going to happen if I just clicked on it.
See, and we're very new to this podcast, if you can't tell. but I mean, I think it's a good way for people to get to know us. Mike, stop playing with the sound effects. But yeah, I think people will become more interested in if they get to know us better. They'll maybe be able to relate to who we are and what we kind of do. Whether it's gambling, obviously we're not high level gamblers, and I think that the majority of people that gamble aren't necessarily high level gamblers. There's a lot of recreational gamblers, and so I think it's a kind of a logical next step to what we are doing with our social media things and with the website and the project itself.
I'm sorry, I blacked out again.
My gosh. Is there a way for us to turn off his mic?
Turn off Mike's mic.
Turn off Mike's mic.
Hold on.
Jeez. I'm sorry, folks, that this is what you're getting. We love it. And thank you for listening to the last podcast on stripwalking.com.
We've been over this. 3 people are listening. Your mom, my mom, and the guy that fell asleep. And
It just randomly selected.
all right. So that now everybody knows everything about us. Vegas related.
That's, well, as much as they care to know, I suppose.
Yes. So how's work going, Geoff?
Work has been good. I haven't worked for a little bit though at the casino.
Why not? Did you get fired? Did you get 86'd?
No, I have not. I have not been fired nor 86th to my knowledge.
Did you get 69'd?
If I got 69, would I be doing a podcast with you?
I don't know. Would you?
Yeah, I'd still probably be doing a podcast with you. But anyway, it's been a minute since I've been at work for sure. I think that's what the kids are saying nowadays. Been a minute.
That's what Tom Cruise says in Top Gun. So it's cool to say that now.
Are we talking the original Top Gun or the one that came out 25 years after the original?
That one.
Okay.
It's cool to us old people that watch the new one. So you don't have any good stories then?
I always have good stories. I mean, there's always interesting things that are happening. Even when I think that there's something that's been pretty mundane for an evening, it turns out that there's usually 1 or 2 good stories that come out of each night of work.
We still haven't covered that story with the guy playing the blackjack, right? Maybe you should tell us that one.
Sure, I can do that.
One night I was dealing blackjack at just a $5 minimum table, so very low limit. Had a gentleman come in, buy in for, I don't know if it was a couple $100, $300, whatever it was. He proceeded to wrap it, and he was playing a fairly high amount on the side bet as well as his actual bet. Initially, he was losing, took most of that money very quickly, bought in for another couple hundred, I believe, and then all of a sudden it seemed like he started hitting the side bet on every hand. And all of a sudden he went from, like I said, having lost like $300 and then bought in for more to having over probably $1,500 at my table. He then took those chips and went to the high limit table that was right next to my table and proceeded to play $250 a hand and then $50 on the side bet. Continued to hit the side bet regularly, as well as winning hands. We actually, from what I understand or what I saw, our floor supervisor, who's an experienced blackjack dealer, been in the business for a long time, actually came in towards the end of the night, did an extra shoe just for this gentleman to see if we could get him to lose some money back to the casino because he was winning so much.
What?
I know. Can you believe that they would do that?
You do that? Dirty tricks.
Statistically speaking, over time, people are going to lose money. I don't know if you know about casino odds and advantages, but
that's not true at all.
That's not true at all. Okay.
I always win.
So anyway, I think when the guy ended up cashing out, he cashed out for over $17,000, which that's a lot of money, especially for our casino.
Some people.
To some people, not to Mike.
No, that's an average day for me.
But at the end of the night, when he finally cashed out and colored up, he did tip at the end. It was generous. He threw a couple quarters on the table.
The dealers split that $50?
Yeah, I didn't say $50. I said 2 quarters. He actually threw 2 physical 25-cent pieces out on the table. And I think Mike, you and I have had this discussion before, but when somebody wins that much money, if they don't tip,
oh, it's way, way worse than not tipping.
Right.
That is an asshole.
Yeah, if they don't tip at all, it's just basically, like you said, I'm just a jerk that doesn't tip. But to throw that amount of money out on the table,
I know I'm supposed to tip, and fuck you.
That is 100% what it is. Yes, I know the dealers have no control over what put out there for cards. It is what it is. We're just facilitating it, but it's kind of the same thing as a waitress or a waiter bringing you food. They aren't actually cooking it, but they're providing you a service.
Yeah, I don't tip them either.
You don't give them 50 cents either?
Kidding. I'm kidding.
Just joking.
Don't send me hate email, Mom.
Is this the point we give them your personal email address?
Them.
all three listeners.
That's a them still.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And then what makes it kind of the story even funnier is that this particular gentleman, about a week or two later, was at the casino again, went to the ATM to get more money and was intoxicated and actually pissed himself right there. And then they did nothing because then he wanted to come play at the tables. We're like, no, you're not sitting down at the tables. So
didn't his wife piss herself too, or something?
Apparently I didn't see that, but apparently out on the dance floor, she did that as well. So
seems like a wonderful couple.
just a Tuesday night at the casino.
Lovely couple. I'd love to meet them.
Sometime I'll have to introduce you to him. There was, and I don't know if this is true or not, but one of the dealers were talking one night after that had happened that this particular gentleman had actually approached one of the floor supervisors about wanting to know if he could become a dealer at the casino. I'm sure he was right at the top of the list to get a job offer after that stuff happens.
So when I finally get to play at your table, you know what you're getting out of a tip for me, right?
A quarter. You're bringing 2 quarters just for me. 10 cent, a dime piece. I'm getting a dime.
50 cent.
50 cent. It actually is a fun job. I enjoy it. It's very different than what I do in my day-to-day life, and I do enjoy it a lot. The other dealers that I work with are awesome. Really enjoy the crew. There's good chemistry there. They're just some days and some people.
Oh, Geoff is single, ladies. I'm speaking to our moms and this guy that fell asleep.
And the guy that fell asleep.
But my mom is single too, so.
Oh, well, there you go. She's single? I thought she had the guy from England or wherever that was.
Well, yeah, but they're not married.
Okay, gotcha.
You home wrecker.
That's exactly right. Sorry. I didn't know Mike was going to know.
You'd be a good dad.
Could you imagine that? You calling me dad? Okay, well, before we get too awkward or too into the uncomfortable situation, do you think we ought to wrap it up? Just want to say thank you to all 3 of you that listened tonight.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. We'll be back. We'll be back with more, hopefully more polished stuff, more interesting information, and more stories to entertain.
I wouldn't bet on any of those things, other than we might be back.
We did say Mike is a gambler. Don't look at me like that.
I don't get it.
You don't get it? Okay, good. That's a perfect place for us to end then. So anyway, thanks again for listening. We will be back next time. And so we'll see you later.
We'll see you later. That's how you're going to go?
I don't know. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to wrap up?
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
That seems like it's a trademarked phrase.
Also very old.
Yes.
Very boomer.
So how about
later bags?
keep rolling those hard 5s.
Keep walking those strips. Keep stripping those walks. Keep stripping. Maybe we'll just go with your first one.
Okay, that sounds good.
How about bye, Mom?
Bye, Mom. I'll call you later.
Love you.
Love you. Call you later.
I will immediately get a call. Why don't you talk that much to me? Guarantee that's what she'll say.
You think?
Yeah. I learned so much listening to that. You never talked like that to me.
Does her voice sound like that?
No, lower.
Lower. I don't know why you ever talk like that to me.
She's not a smoker with a hole in her.
The drink. And has to hold the little thing after her voice box.
Hello, Michael. That wasn't even a very good impression. You did a pretty good impression of it, actually.
Hold the little thing up there. Hello, Michael.
No, that's Stephen Hawking. He died, though, didn't he?
I think he
yeah,
died.
We got to cut that out.
Yeah, we can't.
Damn it. Or do we? Maybe we tried to cut it out, but you couldn't figure out how.
It stayed.
I mean, that's plausible.
That's more
That's
than
fair.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Well, we want to thank everybody for listening. You can check out our site at stripwalking.com.
We are also on all the social media outlets at Strip Walking. I want to thank you again for listening, and everybody have a good night.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Mom.